Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head over to Ireland once again, and this is a brewery that a number of the Irish followers of the channel have been asking me to take a look at, and I have been seeing their cans a little bit more regularly in recent times. So for this one we're going to go to Ballymote in County Sligo over on the west coast of Ireland, and we're going to do my first visit to the Hag Brewing Company, and this one is their New England IPA. It's called the Atlantean and it comes in at 5.4%. So it should be a really interesting beer. I wasn't really sure which beer to actually pick from these guys to do as my first one, but I just kind of thought, you know, I've been enjoying a lot of New England IPAs recently. I don't think I've had a New England IPA from Ireland yet. Let's go for this one. So those of you that asked for me to have a review of this brewery, do let me know in the comments section below what beers you'd like me to try from them, because I basically just picked this one because it was my first Irish New England IPA. So as always, I hope you guys enjoy my take on this beer, and hopefully it's a good one. So yeah, so as always with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, of course, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that hopefully I can do in the future from Hag Brewing. Very first time I'm trying one of their beers. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel, of course, has a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the Irish beers that I've reviewed for you, and that's constantly being added to. And as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. And it is really cool that we're finally getting more of the Irish beers over in Scotland, and I think hopefully we can see them over in Copenhagen and in Sweden and stuff like that soon too. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Hag Brewing Company then. So the Hag Brewing Company are based in Ballymote in County Sligo, a little bit to the south of the town of Sligo itself, and they were founded back in 2014. So the company was started by a small group of Irish entrepreneurs, and they're now joined by brewers from the US. So Paul Mullen is the managing director, and James Ward was one of the founders as well. So James is actually the one who chose the name Hag, and he's from Caish near Ballymote, and apparently there's caves there which were said to be home to 3 hags, one of which could take the form of anything in nature, and this one was actually known as the White Hag. So he felt that it was quite a good idea for the guys to take this kind of mythology, to take the Irish mythology as a way to represent the kind of Irishness of the brewery, and also in particular the area of Ireland where this beer comes from, and just to use that as the kind of branding they thought was a really quite good idea. So it is quite a catchy name actually. You think the Hag Brewing Company, so I can't see exactly what they were going for with that. But apparently the brewery had a few snags during their kind of early years, such as finding bottle manufacturers. Like apparently they managed to find one and then all of a sudden they stopped producing bottles. They also had problems finding a suitable bottling machine to actually bottle their beer when they got the bottling manufacturer after this, and there was a few other things as well. And they also in their early days got about €90,000 of leader funding from the government, which really helped them kind of get their business up and going. And they're now starting to export their beers as well. I think from very early on they were exporting their beers over to America, of course, with an American brewer, and that is something that is quite an easy market for them to get into. And now we're starting to see them in Scotland, and of course they're becoming more available in England as well. But the head brewer at the brewery is actually Joe Cairns, who had previously been a paramedic, but he later worked as an apprentice brewer at Hop and Frog Brewery in Akron in Ohio. Apparently joined that brewery when it was really quite unknown, and then they went on to become one of the best rated breweries in the world. But he also worked for the Main Street Bar and Grill and Brewery in Garrettsville in Ohio as well. So he's got quite a good pedigree, and he's one of the ones who's really helped Hag Brewing Company drive on. And like I said, a number of the Irish guys that have been watching the videos of the beers that I've done from the likes of Boundary and the other breweries that I've done from Ireland, both the North and the Republic, a lot of them have been asking for me to take a look at these Hag beers, so I'm finally getting around to do it for you. But that's all the information I have on the brewery for just now. Have a wee look at the brewery website if you want to read their blog and things like that, and they do have a Facebook page where you can keep up to date with the different things going on. But they take part in a lot of different festivals around Ireland, and they do say that their ambition is to be the best Irish craft brewery in the world. So yeah, it should be interesting to watch these guys over the next few years. And like I've said in these videos, it is really cool that we're starting to see more Irish beers get out there. beer, because for a long time it was really difficult to find things both from the north of Ireland and from the Republic, so it is cool that they're finally starting to get out and about. But yeah, let's get on to the actual tasting of this beer itself then. So yeah, there you can see the White Hag Brewing Company's label on this one. I was trying to remember if I had actually seen these beers in bottles, because on the website most of the pictures that they have of the beers are actually with the bottles, but I don't think I've ever seen any of the bottles in the Scottish bottle shops or anything like that. I think most of the beers have actually been in cans. But like I told you at the start of this video, this one's a 5.4% New England IPA. I do like that. It's almost like one of these kind of eggshell sort of paint things on the side here. And it says here, Atlantean. Our Atlantean beer is inspired by mythological sea journeys which took curious voyagers beyond the ninth wave in search of the magical other worlds and the secret treasures they held. For this IPA, our inspiration has travelled back from the other lands of New England across the cloudy foam of the Atlantic. So yeah, nice little thing there. But without further ado then, let's get it out and we'll get on with the tasting. I'm looking forward to seeing what all the hype is about with this brewery, so hopefully the beer lives up to that. So as you can see, and as you would expect from the New England IPA style, you're getting a nice hazy beer. This one, I would say, in terms of colour, is quite a bright sort of golden yellow, and there's a solid finger and a half there of a frothy head. It looks a little bit creamy actually in colour. It might look perfect white on the camera to you, but to me it does appear as if it's a little bit creamy. One or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass there, and a few little ones heading up towards the bottom of that head. But overall it does look pretty nice actually, and you can smell some of these nice juicy fruity characters coming off the beer as well. So let's take a closer look at the aroma then and just see how we get on. Ooh, yeah. That smells really nice. I think there's some citra in here. I'm pretty sure there's some citra. You've got that nice mangoey note. There's a little bit of that lychee and kind of gooseberry thing that you get in the later on in the nose as well. Some peachy and kind of apricot-y notes as well. There's maybe a little bit of a pineapple-y quality for this one. It does lean towards the kind of tropical fruity side of things as well. I'm not sure if there's maybe a little bit of orange in the background as well, but it definitely leans nicely towards these kind of tropical fruits. There's a little bit of a wheaty character, sort of. You can pick up the wheaty bready notes and a bit of that oaty kind of sweetness as well. But it smells, it pretty much smells exactly as you would expect this style of beer too. There's a little bit of a kind of floral and grassy note in there as well. It leans more towards the grassy side of things than the floral side, rather. It's not quite as spicy as you might expect for the kind of floral notes, but it's juicy. The aroma for this one mainly, it's quite juicy and fruity, like I said, tropical, peaches, apricots, a little bit of mango, some of these kind of lychee and gooseberry notes. I do suspect there's some citra in here, maybe a little bit of an orangey note as well. I think it is more orange than tangerine too, so there might be a wee bit of Amarillo, but I may well be wrong about that. I always just like guessing the hops when you're having a smell of these beers, because it's quite interesting, and it can sometimes give you an idea of what you're going to get in the flavour of the beer as well. But yeah, some nice bread, some wheaty, bready and oaty notes kind of lying underneath this one. A little bit of grass as well. But overall, it smells really nice, and it smells pretty much what you would expect from an IPA, or a New England IPA I should say. But let's get stuck into this one then. So this one is the Atlantean, a New England IPA at 5.4% from the White Hag Brewing Company over in Ballymote in County Sligo in Ireland. Let's get stuck into this one. Slàinte, skål. That's pretty nice actually. It's not quite as bitter as I was expecting it to be. This one's quite a nice, smooth, easy drinking New England IPA. Although that said, when you sugar it around your palate a little bit more, you do start to get more and more of the nice bitter notes out of it. But the malt base in this one is really quite smooth. It's not quite got the sort of lactosey, dextrosey feel that you can get from some of these beers. The oats for me are a little bit more prominent in this one, which is nice. I do like that almost slightly sweet quality that you get from adding oats into the beer. I like how that kind of plays out. In a way it reminds me of the Fata Morgana actually a little bit from Omnipollo in Sweden. It has that nice kind of oaty smoothness to it, which is really, really nice. So just pay attention to that with this beer. The middle of your palate's just kind of blanketed with this kind of smooth, white, wheaty, bready character, and then you've got the oats just sitting on top of that and almost just giving the beer a little bit of sweetness. Yeah, it's nice that. I mean, there's a little bit of a biscuity sweetness. If you go right down the middle line of your tongue, you get this nice sort of little biscuity sweetness in there as well, which is pretty interesting. Around the edges of your palate though, you've got what you'd expect. In the back corners of the palate, there's a little tiny bit of an earthy note there, but as you come further forward along the sides of the tongue, it starts out just a little bit herbal, then it kind of evolves into a nice sort of slightly spicy floral aromatic note. Then round the front curve of the tongue, it's got a little bit of that lighter kind of grassy flavour. If you just go behind the front curve of the palate there, you can feel that's where that little oily bubble comes out, where the sort of juicy fruity esters are sitting in the beer. You can feel there's a little bit of grapefruit just kind of underpinning the fruity notes of this beer, but as the flavour mellows out, you start to get a little bit of mango. You can feel there's a wee bit of a, I do wonder, there's not the orange that I was picking up in the aroma in this one, which is quite interesting. There is a sort of, almost, there's not quite the peachy sharpness either, it's quite an apricot-y note, maybe even a bit of pineapple or something like that that's coming out of it. I think there's mangoes and sort of mangoes and apricots and maybe a little bit of a pineapple-y note coming out of this beer. Yeah, I do think I think there is Citra in here. There's maybe a wee bit of Mosaic or something as well. There could be just a little bit, that tangerine note, and that would explain why you're getting pineapple as well. That's the two kind of flavours and note and aromas that you get out of the Mosaic hop. But the beer kind of goes together really quite well. It's a nice, really easy drinking New England IPA, this one. And as I say, the thing that sticks out to me on this beer is the prominence of the oats. Like a lot of these beers, they can have that lactosey feel. Yeah, that lactosey dextrosey thing, which makes the middle of the palate feel almost just a bit more creamy, whereas with this one it's just that little bit smoother and you get that nice sweet character that you get from the oats, and I think that works for this beer really quite well, particularly with those sort of lighter juicy tropical fruits that you've got, the apricot-y notes in particular. That kind of suits this one pretty well. But overall it's a nice New England IPA. It's not going to blow your head in terms of IBUs and things like that like some of them will. This one is a slightly easier drinking version, if that makes sense. I do like how it all kind of goes together, and it's cool to try my first Irish New England IPA as well. As far as I can remember, I haven't actually tried a New England IPA from any of the other Irish brewers, but they've certainly done a nice job of this, and I do like the smoothness that it has in the mouthfeel. This one, I'm not sure if that's a trait from the Hop and Frog beers. I've never actually tried anything from Hop and Frog, and that's something I definitely need to sort out. But this is a nice beer, and I am glad that I got to take a look at it. So in terms of the mouthfeel then, I would say yeah, like the lighter side of mid-bodied for this one. Carbonation's very smooth. It's got quite a wet mouth feel, this one, which is kind of unusual for a New England IPA. This one is a little bit wetter than some of the ones that I've come across before. As I said, the malt base has a really nice smooth character to it. It's a little bit smoother than some of the other ones I've had before. It doesn't quite have the same creaminess, and that's due to those oaty flavours being a little bit more prominent, so it's interesting in that regard. There's a good little bit of hoppy bitter character, like I was saying. It's not going to blow your head off in terms of IBUs, and the fruity character is really nice on this as well. As I say, I think the apricot-y flavours are helped out a little bit by the smoothness of the oats from the malt base, but overall it's a really nice beer, and I'm glad that I got to try it. Like I say, very cool to try my first New England IPA from the Republic of Ireland, so I'm glad that I got to try this beer. And to those of you in Ireland who recommended this brewery to me, thank you for that, and do please let me know what your favourite beers are from these guys. It really would be cool to have a look at some of the other ones. I've heard their oatmeal stout is really good, and you know, the Irish do tend to be pretty good when it comes to brewing stouts. It'd be cool to see if these guys have done a Scotch ale or something like that as well. I'd love to try my first Irish Scotch ale. I think that would be really interesting. But overall, it's a nice beer. In terms of the New England style, the oaty note sticks out to me as this one as being quite unique, and it's just a nice easy drinker, I would say. That's probably a good way to sum up this one, the Atlantean. So yeah, once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Do check out my social media and things too. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. As I said, let me know your favourite beers from the White Hag Brewing Company over in Sligo. I've heard they do some pretty awesome stuff, so it would be cool to know which ones I should be taking a look at. And as always, thank you for watching. Until the next time, you know, do all this usual stuff, and I hope you've enjoyed my take on this beer. So I will catch you very soon with more Irish beer reviews, and I'm sure I'll return to the White Hag in the near future. This was the Atlantean, a New England IPA at 5.4% from Ballymote in County Sligo over in Ireland. Slàinte just now.